Well, wait. Got a few people joining us. Welcome, everybody. Hopefully you're having a fantastic Thursday. We're going to give it a couple of minutes for everybody to join. The weather is gorgeous, always a plus. So happy that summer is here.
I agree. It was teasing us for so long, and now it's finally here.
Yes. And now it will stay for several months, which is the best part. Perfect, so just give it a couple more minutes for some more people to join us here, just to turn to 1 o'clock. The one thing I'll announce, and I'll say it again before we get started, we do like these meetings to be very interactive. We love the questions. It really helps us understand what you're looking to get from the presentation. So please feel free to ask any and all questions that you have. All that we ask is that you please use the Q&A section of this Zoom meeting rather than the chat. So the chat is laggy. So please use the Q&A section so that we can get those questions in real time so that we're able to answer them for you right away as we're going through the presentation today. We'll just give it 1 more minute for any stragglers. It's going to be a beautiful Mount Hood that we are presenting today. Just do like the Jeopardy theme song. I used to watch that all the time as a kid. I don't really watch it anymore. That and Wheel of Fortune. It was like the nightly routine. So we're coming up on 1:02, so we will go ahead and we will get started. So we're going to do some quick introductions. So my name is Sarah Reeves. I am a homeowner counselor out of the Southwest Washington branch. So I'm located in Woodland, Washington, and I oversee the Southwest region of Washington. So Vancouver, I handle all the way up to the Long Beach Peninsula through Washington, and I also handle all of the gorge builds out towards White Salmon, and I will allow my co-host to introduce herself.
Hi, everyone. I'm Shari Avery. I am the homeowner counselor out of the Treasure Valley branch based in Caldwell, Idaho. And like Sarah, I have a very big area that I cover. I'm from Baker City all the way to Mountain Home, Idaho, and McCall, Idaho. So I can help you do it all.
Perfect. And so we'll get started. I'm just going to do a quick little announcement. So we do like for these presentations to be very interactive. So please feel free to ask any and all questions that you have about land, financing, the house itself. All that we ask is that you please use the Q&A function of the presentation today rather than the chat. The chat does not give us those questions in real time, whereas the Q&A section does. So please use that Q&A section, and as your questions come through, Shari and myself will work through answering all of those for you. So with that being said, we'll go ahead, we will jump into the presentation. We are going to first start with our website. So our website is very interactive, and so you'll be able to look at all of our floor plans on our website. You will be able to look at all of the pricing for our floor plans. So the home that we're showing today is the Mount Hood. It is 2,734 square feet. It offers 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, also has a bonus room and a den in addition to those bedrooms. We come down a little further on the website and you'll be able to view the floor plan. So this is how the Mount Hood sits on our website. One thing that I will mention is that all of our floor plans are completely customizable. So you can make rooms bigger, you can make rooms smaller, you can add walls, move walls, just about anything. Shari and myself don't really understand the word no. So if you can think of it, chances are we can make it happen for you. So really fantastic family plan. We've got a primary on one side of the house and the bedrooms on the other. And then we see that large bonus room here off on the end of the house. So it always is great for children, second living rooms. And then this plan also has the option to turn this into a dual master suite. So if you have a need for that, maybe you're a primary caregiver for somebody in your life, or you just want one of your children to have a full suite themselves, completely possible on this plan. We also have a formal dining room and an informal nook space on this plan. Of course, the den, so very large if you work from home, with 15 by 11 on that den space. And then this is one of two plans that we have that does already have a 3-car garage in the base price of our home. So come down a little further on the website and you can take a look through our different exteriors we have on our homes. So each of these exteriors come with a handful of different exterior aesthetics to them. And the pricing does vary between the different exteriors. So we've got our entry level at the Traditions. We're going to then go to the Farmhouse, which would be that mid-level exterior. You then introduce board and bat and some other farmhouse options. Nothing changes on the inside of the home. So this is purely exterior aesthetics only. We also have a modern elevation that we call the Riata. And we have a Craftsman exterior. So the Craftsman is typically going to be our top tier because this is all real cedar up in these gables. And then we do start to introduce a tongue and groove pine underneath all of the patio covers. You can come down a little further on the website and you can look at pictures. This is actually another Mount Hood that I built for one of my customers. This one's out in Goldendale, Washington. And then you come down a little further, you can look at more videos like what we're presenting today. And then the meat and potatoes lives down in the details section. So if you already own property or you're looking at a lot and you want to understand if the house can fit on your lot or not, you're going to get the building area for the floor plans here. And once again, the square footage, everything it has to offer. And then over here on the right side is where you're going to get a breakdown of the different pricing for the different exteriors that we offer. We'll come up and what we'll do next is we're going to look at the plan that we are presenting today. So you might notice the garage is on the other side from what we just looked at on the website. All of our plans can be mirrored of one another. There's no cost difference. This purely kind of depends on your lot, where your driveway is coming up, what's going to be more functional for the house placement on your particular property. And then this customer did modify the floor plan in a handful of ways. The one thing I'll mention is they did enlarge their third bay. So the third bay is typically offset a little bit by about 4 feet. And so they wanted that to be much larger at the same 32 feet as the rest. So then they upgraded that. They also added a sliding glass door to their primary suite. And they did that because they have this gorgeous wraparound porch that goes along one side of the house all the way down and around the back side of the house. So they wanted direct access to that. We also did some built-ins and closed off this dining room to make it a little bit more of a formal space rather than open to all of this. Something that's little that we might not notice, but they actually took away the half bath. So the half bath would live right here in this area on the floor plan. They didn't have the need for the half bath, so they did convert this space to a pantry. So they wanted to have some more storage for themselves. And then we transitioned a few things in the utility room so that they could have a stackable set rather than a side-by-side set. These particular customers, they did go with the farmhouse exterior. So this is what the Mount Hood looks like from the front. So with that farmhouse look to it, we've got what I call eyebrows. The eyebrows come out over the tops of the garage, over the windows. We're seeing that start to that wraparound porch here. And then it carries alongside the whole side of the house, and then of course the back side of the house. So really fantastic touch on there for them. Something I'll point out is on the farmhouse, the board and bat, it's gonna come on the front elevation. And then we will transition to lap siding on the sides of the home. If you prefer that board and bat siding all the way 360 around the home, that's not a problem. We can modify that and include that in that project for you. Perfect. Before I dive into the video, do you have any questions?
Not yet. I do have to say I'm already in love with that wraparound porch though.
Yes, it's a fantastic touch. And this home was built in Vernonia, and that is an area that I serve. That Vernonia is located in Oregon. So I do service a handful of Oregon counties out of this branch as well. So Vernonia is in Columbia County. I also work in Clatsop County. That's another Oregon location that we work in. Perfect. So we'll go ahead. We will start this video from the beginning. How we will approach this is we're going to show this video. We're going to talk about the different modifications. We'll touch on the different upgrade options that the customer went with on this plan. So as we're doing that, feel free to ask any questions that you might have. And then at the end, we'll play the video start to finish without any commentary. That way you can see it in its entirety. So we're seeing the Mount Head here, a beautiful piece of property, gorgeous trees. So as part of Adair's building process, we do share the responsibility of developing the property with the customer. So for Shari and myself, it is our job to help you identify what items are needed on your property in order to house a home. So those items would be things like a septic system, a well, we're gonna install a driveway, or maybe the driveway already exists. How are we going to get power to the home location, and so on and so forth. So we guide you through that. We assist you with collecting the cost for those items, because that is not in the base price of our homes. I get asked a lot, well, Sarah, why isn't it included? And the reason is every lot is so different. There's no way for us to put a price in there and have it be a one size fit all. Some people need wells, some people have city water, drastic cost difference between those. Some customers, need a 100-foot driveway. Some customers only need 25 feet. So the now important thing to know is when we do a project like this, we put it together in a total project cost. And if you're financing with a construction loan, that construction loan is set up in a way that it can fund all of those site development items. So nothing needs to come out of pocket. We simply need to be aware and make sure that we're budgeting for all of those items. So we will go ahead and get started. We're going to come in this front door. I'm going to give it, we're going to swing around and we're going to go into the den. So for this particular house, we did do different flooring outside of the standards in every room. So in this particular space, this is an upgraded carpet. The customers went with sort of a mid-level carpet. And so for the whole entire house, they spent about $2,000 on the upgraded carpet. So they could have a little bit different of a color, but they also wanted it to be thicker. In this space, something I'll point out, all the outlets are to code. So you're going to get a lot of outlets in your home. They're all 6 feet apart. You'll be able to see them as we're going through the video. For myself, something that I do challenge my customers to do is, in the space that you're living in now, really think about where you wish there was an outlet and there currently isn't one. So for example, I really wish I had an outlet in my walk-in closet in my bedroom, just for like maybe a steamer or a scent so that it can smell good in there with all the dirty laundry, but I don't currently have an outlet. So that's the joys of building a house and customizing the house to your needs, is we're able to add those items where you wish they were. And that spans, not just outlets, but anything and everything that you think you always dreamed about, or you think is really unique that you'd like to have in your house. So,
Hey, Sarah.
yes.
Heidi would like to know if those windows are standard in our builds.
That's a great question. So on the den, there is currently one set of windows, which we're looking at here to the left. So these are standard. They come on the plan as is. These customers did add these windows over here to the right. So they wanted to have extra light in this office, and they also wanted to be able to see out into that beautiful wraparound patio that they added. And so any plan, you can add windows to them, you can make windows larger. We're going to see skylights in this plan, so that's an option for anybody as well. You'll notice there's two different grid patterns. So on the farmhouse, this is the standard grid, but under the patio cover, they wanted something a little bit more of a unique look. So they added a different grid pattern in those spaces as well. And then something else I'll touch on the windows is standard, they'll be drywall wrapped. Okay, and we do that so that we can have a fantastic product in the base price of our homes that can fit for anybody looking to build at any walk in their life. And then for us, the upgrades exist a la carte. So we like our customers to be able to pick and choose where they want to spend their money, rather than us including all of this and really driving up the base price of the homes. So you get to pick and choose where you want to spend that upgrade. So for example, they've got their craftsman trim in every space of this house. And so for the trim around the doors, the bases, and those areas of the home, that's a pretty minimal upgrade. They spent about $1,000 on that trim in all of those areas. When we move into the full wrap windows, that then comes with a lot more material and a lot more labor. So to fully wrap the windows on the home, it does come at a cost. Each plan is a little different. But this particular plan, they did spend $4,800 to fully wrap all of the windows in this space. The one thing I would say is if you're a curtain people, like you love curtains, you love the aesthetic of the curtains, then let's think about whether or not we should fully wrap or not, because you're just going to cover them up. So why make them beautiful and gorgeous just to put fabric over the top of them?
And are those 8-foot ceilings or are they taller?
That is a fantastic question. So these customers did choose to go with the 9-foot ceiling. So the 9-foot plate height is probably the most common upgrade you see customers move forward with. It does, give you a much grander look inside the home, but it also offers great resale value and great appraisal value on homes. So this does increase the value of the home, which not all upgrades do. So we went with 9 foot in this particular home, and for us, our 9-foot plate height is a package deal. So not only do we raise the height of your ceilings, we're also going to increase the height of your windows. So we're going to increase the height of your sliding glass door. We're going to increase the height on your garage doors from 7-foot door to an 8-foot door. And then all of your upper cabinets in the plan are also going to grow by 6 inches. And it does give it more of that wow factor as you're coming into this space. We're going to sneak over to the master now. Something else I'll point out in this home is we are seeing upgraded doors. So standard in the base price, we have a 2-panel or 6-panel door. So the 6-panel door is what would be standard. These customers chose to go with a custom door. So this is a 2-panel recessed door. And you're going to see it every single door. They switched out for the whole entire plan. So just by updating the design of the door, it does really add, a unique character to the home, gives it a little bit more pizzazz. It is an inexpensive upgrade, so it's always something that's nice to throw in just to give the house a little bit more character. We're going to come into their primary bathroom now. So I am going to give a quick little pause. So this is our 5-foot drop-in soaker tub with a tile deck and a tile surround. So on any of our plans that are 2,000 square feet or larger, this is automatically going to come in the base price for you. So this isn't an upgrade. This is how the plan will come. And they chose to have their floor match. So the tile floor itself, So the tile floor itself was an upgrade for these particular customers, but then they have it flowing throughout the space. Something else that goes hand in hand with that is you do receive an 80-gallon heat pump water heater as well when we introduce this 5 weeks after. So over here, we're seeing the plumbing. So this is standard plumbing. They did not choose to upgrade this at all. We're seeing standard bath accessories. So that would be towel bars, toilet paper holders, those types of items. Those are also standard. We have our standard vanity lights up here as well. So for us, all of these fixtures in the base price are going to be brushed nickel automatically. They kept the standard backsplash as well. So it looks very nice in this space. The 2 upgrades we are seeing here would be the Naughty Alder cabinets for us. So this is an entry level upgrade. This is a beautiful product for the cheapest cost on upgraded cabinets. So this is our shaker door and our Naughty Alder clean stain. So very much of a really nice rustic, country farmhouse vibe to it, which is fantastic. And then we've got an upgraded quartz countertop here. So that is something that was important to the customers to keep in the kitchen and in this bathroom. And then we'll see the standard countertop in the next bathroom, which I'll make sure to point out. And then for us, when you go to a solid surface like a quartz or a granite, you will automatically receive these undermount sinks. So they go hand in hand, no additional upgrade for this, we include it. Same for the kitchen. Something. Oh, go ahead.
I was saying while we're scrolling through, go ahead, finish the bathroom.
Yeah, so we're actually going to see a thermostat here in just a second. So something that we can do in our builds is we can do heated flooring in these types of spaces. So when you go with a tile upgrade, that has to be tile, we can make the flooring a heated floor. So we're going to see this in both bathrooms. They chose to go with the tile, and then they chose to introduce the heated flooring element in these spaces. So that's what this control panel is for. That is for the heated tile floorings in flooring in this bathroom. Just fantastic, because tile is cold, so who doesn't want, nice little fixes.
Agreed.
And then they did just stay with the standard fiberglass shower, so that automatically comes in the base price. They didn't choose to go to a tile. That is an opportunity for everybody, but they just chose to keep it as fiberglass.
So we did have a couple questions about the 9-foot ceilings again.
Okay.
What is the ballpark to increase the 9-foot ceilings in this home?
Okay, so on this particular home, we are quite large, and then the garage is included, and that's quite large as well. So the 9-foot plate height on a single-story home is typically going to be, a top dollar amount because it's spread out so wide. So on this house, to take the ceilings up to 9 feet, it's going to be about $15,500. And so all of those items I listed earlier all come included in that price. So their slider is now a foot taller. All of these windows grew by a foot. All of these cabinets grew. And so that's a complete package deal for us. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. Pausing here real quick. So these customers did choose to go to an engineered hardwood in this space. So we have all different types of flooring available to our customers. In the base price, we do have carpet in the great room and carpet in the bedrooms on this particular plan. And then we have a vinyl product in the wet areas. So the wet areas would be places like the utility room, which we will see the standard flooring in the utility room. So stay tuned. And that's also in the bathrooms, the kitchen, and spaces like that. They did want sort of like a whole house upgrade. So we see this engineered hardwood and what I would call the body of the home. So we've got that entry, we've got the kitchen and the great room, and then the hallways. And then you'll notice we transitioned to carpet and all the other spaces. Something else I'll note is we've got special appliances. So the customer did choose to provide all of these appliances themselves. Okay. That is 100% up to the customer. We do include appliances in the base price of our homes. And we also include an upgraded gourmet kitchen if customers wanted to go with it. But these particular customers had a very specific style of white with the brass handles, and so they chose to provide these themselves. All that we ask when we're doing the design of your home, so when Shari or myself are working with you through that portion, we just need to understand the specs of that product. So how big is it? How much space do we need to allow for it? What type of outlet does it need? All of those items, because nothing would be more frustrating than providing your own appliances and the space is either too big or too small. So we want to make sure that it fits, that it looks like it was always meant to be there. So all that we ask is that we do a little due diligence in that design phase to make sure we are designing the home to fit those appliances perfectly.
I have to say, I love the colors they selected. They complement, like when you see their view out the windows and stuff, it really complements the trees around it and everything. They really took everything into consideration.
It really does. It looks fantastic. And we're seeing that naughty alder again. So this was done throughout the whole house. They also just kept the backsplash standard. So this is a 6-inch subway tile in all of the bathrooms and the kitchen. And it's going to come up 2 rows high. And so of course we could go full height if any customer wanted to. We could do a geometric shape, we could do glass. It really depends on what you want. For these particular customers, they just kept it as the standard. But I also want to point out all the outlets in this kitchen. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's one more hiding, and then you've got 2 on each side of this island. So you have 8 outlets in your kitchen alone. That's a lot of coffee machines, blenders, whatever you need, mixers. And then we're seeing the single bowl undermount stainless steel sink in this particular kitchen, and this was automatically included when they chose to take that quartz countertop as an upgrade. We're going to swing around. I believe here in a second we are going to get a fantastic view of the skylights and a few other things that I do want to point out to you all today. So I'll pause it here. So we've got one skylight in the kitchen. We're going to see another one in the great room here in just a little bit, but I'm going to try and find a good place to pause. But we see these little sort of plastic things on their ceilings. We're seeing them, we're going to see them throughout the house. Just want to point them out. So for specific counties that we work with or city limit properties, this and that, every once in a while, we come across a project where sprinkler systems are required as part of the build. So this particular county, because of the length of their driveway and because the size of their house and the gallons per minute produced by their well, they did need to include a fire suppression system as part of their build. Okay. The system that we use is, it's triggered by heat and so on and so forth, and they're recessed into the ceiling. So you don't see them, and they're covered with these little plastic circles. Once they're triggered, they push that circle down and then they go off. So we try to keep them as aesthetically pleasing inside the house as we can, but that is what they look like when we have to introduce sprinklers into the homes. Beautiful. So this is the dining room. So this is where we closed it off. They wanted more of a grand formal look. And with that, we did 2 beautiful custom built-ins. So these were done in the same material that we have the cabinets. So once again, that naughty alder and the clear stain. We did it completely custom, so it would fit from the window to the wall with no extra space. They're going to use this as storage for their china, for decorative glass pieces, and of course plates and such, because the dining room table will go in here, and everything to decorate and set the table will live in these beautiful buildings.
Could we have like connected those and made a bench or something there if they wanted to?
Absolutely. Like I said earlier, we don't really understand the word no, so anything we can think of, we can absolutely do it. So we're seeing that other skylight here, so that comes down into the great room. But I also want to touch on this guy. So this is a freestanding wood burning stove, completely in the scope of what we can build in our houses. So fireplaces are really common. We can do electric fireplaces, we can do gas burning fireplaces, we can do wood stoves, like we're seeing here, and then we can also do wood burning fire inserts. So those are the ones that are sort of inset into your wall as that piece. This is the stove, so it has the chimney and all of those items. So this customer, because of their location, they do lose power every once in a while. So they did want to have a secondary source of heat in their house. So we're going to come down the other hallway now. This is where the guest rooms are, the bonus room, and that other bathroom. So we're going to come into bathroom number 2 again, right now. Well, not again, first time. It's almost my Friday, so I mix up words the longer my week goes. So this is a standard countertop. So standard for us in the base price will be a laminate. And then from there, like we mentioned earlier, everything's a la carte. So if a customer like this one just wants to introduce quartz in the kitchen and in their bathroom, but keep the standard in the guest bath, totally okay with us. Does not have to be a full house upgrade. So you can choose room by room, not a problem. And we've got another tile floor in this space. They went with a lighter color in here. Still seeing those naughty alder cabinets, the standard lighting, standard plumbing. This is our one-piece tub shower combo that's going to come in the secondary bathrooms on our homes. So it's completely one piece, no seam there. That's going to be fiberglass. It's going to come with the shower bar for your shower curtain, or you could choose to have a door placed on it. That's going to be completely up to you and how you'd like to see your house. Going to come across. So this is the utility room on this plan. Behind this door is where you go in to access the garage. This is a standard vinyl in this particular room. So they did not upgrade this. This is what can come in the base price for you. They did convert this space to house a stackable washer and dryer. That's just something that was important to them. But we did do this custom little cabinetry area here to match the rest of the cabinets in the house to store, cleaning products, their soap and such. And then they're going to place their laundry baskets in here. I know that might be one hiding from me. Something else I'll point out is this is the furnace. So the base price of our home does come with complete central air. So you have AC and heat automatically in the base price of our homes. This is the electric furnace. This does have to be housed in conditioned living space in both Washington and Oregon. That is an energy code requirement. There's no way for us to get around it. We can put it anywhere in the house, but it has to be in conditioned living space. So in Washington and Oregon, we can no longer place it in the garage and we can no longer place it up in your attic space. So we can get creative where we put it, but it has to be in the house.
And while we're talking about that, looks like HVAC vents are in the ceiling. Can you explain?
Absolutely. So for us, we are going to run all of your ducting from this unit up into your attic. And then we're going to have ceiling vents in the whole home. So we don't do floor vents. We're not going to run that warm air through your crawl space and expose it to colder temperatures to cool it down. We want your unit to be as efficient as possible. 1, to conserve energy, and 2, we want to keep your bills low. So we're going to run everything up into the attic and then down into all of the rooms. So you have all ceiling vents on all of our plants. Okay, so this is going to be the bonus room. As we saw from the plans, this is quite large. This is a 17 by 21 bonus room. They added a door, which we aren't going to get a peek of, unfortunately. It lives over here. That door goes directly out under their wraparound patio cover. And so that is something that was important to them to be able to access. We're going to point out that little ceiling vent right here. So that's what you'll see on all of our plans. Good shot of the outlets once again. This is our standard lighting. So we're going to have the circular mounted lights in all of the bedrooms and the hallways. Once again in brushed nickel. So all of those finishes do match throughout our homes. And then we've got another sprinkler. Here it lives. There's another one over here, but I don't know if I'll get it. There it goes. There they go.
And that is such a huge bonus room. I've seen it and like, I mean, pool table and
That's-
everything fits in there. It's really awesome.
You just feel a little party room. So these are the two bedrooms and they have a linen closet between them. So each of these bedrooms are just about 11 by 11. So perfect size for a queen size bed, a couple of end tables, great size for kids and for teenagers, great outlets in these spaces as well. Something I'll point out is we do include the painting in the base price of our homes. So this particular project didn't have the exterior painting done yet. We were waiting for some good weather before we did that. It is painted now, but already have a video. And the inside is done while the house is being built. So this is one of our standard interior schemes that customers can choose from. We use all Sherwin-Williams for all of our paints. And so this particular customer landed on our scheme number 2. So this is a gray for the walls. It's called Repose Gray. And then we've got a white for the ceiling and for the trim, which is fantastic. So the house will be completely ready, done, and you don't have to worry about anything. You see the outside, so this is what primed hardy board looks like. So we do use all James Hardy for our exterior siding on our homes. So this is just primed. It can weather just fine, given that it's a concrete fiber board. And then once the weather turned and got warm, we did paint this house, and they painted it white and black because it is a farmhouse. And then something I'll note, it's an issue every builder's having, is garage doors. So they're taking a little longer right now to get them. We don't close out any of our houses until we have them. But sometimes it's been a little laggy to get those garage doors to the project and installed. We're gonna get a few different sides of the house now. So there's that wraparound porch coming to the back of the home. This is that bonus room. So just for size, this is how big it is. It comes completely off the back of the house. They did upgrade their exterior lights. So these are a barn style lights that come down. They're sort of like a dome style. So they did choose to do that on the house. As you can see, they're starting painting. Okay, so it was happening, it's not done. And then this is the chimney from the fireplace in the great room. And then we're seeing those skylight locations on the back of the house as well. Once again, bonus room is here. I wish we got a peek over here, but there was a lot of mud. So I can guess why the photographer didn't get the view of that side of the patio cover. Perfect. So, like stated at the beginning of the presentation, what we're going to do now is we're going to play this video from start to finish with, I'm not going to pause it, but at this time would be a fantastic time to ask all of your questions. We're here to talk about site development. Maybe you have questions about construction loans. Maybe you have questions about a different floor plan. Feel free, nothing's off limits. Just put it in that Q&A. And as we're playing this video again, Shari and I will answer all of those questions for you. Or we'll make up questions.
Yeah.
The paint job just looks so good.
Yes.
So what I'll do, I'll just kind of jump into it. So Shari, do you want to kind of touch on a construction loan and what it looks like and what we can use it for?
Yeah, so our construction loans, well, we do partner with Adair Financial Services, which is a sister company of ours. And the great thing about them is they only do Adair loans. And so they know our process really well. But a construction loan, pretty much, as Sarah stated in the beginning of the video, you can put all of your site development in it, your home costs. You know, I have buyers who put landscaping and those kind of things in there as well. That way it covers everything and it's all housed under one loan. But they're free, I guess, pretty easy to get right now as well. Sorry, I'm like pulling a blank. Apparently I need to go back to bed and order some more coffee.
Take my coffee. So yeah, construction loan is very unique. When you're doing a project like this, that's the type of loan we'll work with. So an existing mortgage loan unfortunately won't work. They're not set up the same. So that construction loan is multifaceted in the sense that if you don't currently own property, you can wrap that cost of the property into your construction loan. You can wrap the cost of your site development into the loan and also the house. So that's where we work with that total project cost at the end. So Shari and I, we specialize in juggling all three of those buckets to make sure that we are coming in realm with your total project cost. And so we help keep you balanced. We'll help let you know, like, hey, I know you really want X, Y, and Z, but we're over the budget. You know, what are your thoughts? Do we, you know, are we going to come up with money, or are we going to take these items out? And sometimes those conversations are hard, but it's also Shari and ours job to make sure that we're being realistic. You know, we don't want you to be house poor or feel uncomfortable with the total amount that you're spending. So we'll make sure that we keep your budget in the forefront and continue reminding you if you are over budget.
Yeah. Sarah, while you're on the loan or the topic of loans, when does the construction loan start? Owner payment starts? Meaning like what part of the process, prior to permitting, right after closing the loan?
That's a fantastic question. So ultimately, you know, the closing of the loan happens when the customer is ready. You have to sign that document. It's not going to just happen. So once we have a contract in place, that's when the loan can really begin its final underwriting, final conditions, and actively move towards closing. So on average, it will happen about 40 to 55 days after your contract with Adair is in place. So the closing of a loan is happening before the foundation is poured. That is a requirement that we have a funded loan before we begin construction. And so that will always happen prior. When it comes to payments, it really depends on what we are using that construction loan for. So I'll give you two scenarios. Let's say that you have purchased your property with your construction loan. So we wrapped it all up in there, like a pig in a blanket. What that means is as soon as your loan closes, that land is going to be paid for right away. It's the first thing that's going to come out of your loan to make sure that the seller of that property is paid. So for that scenario, that is when your payments on your construction loan will start. Because the way that the construction loan is set up is you will be making interest-only payments on the amount that has been drawn. Okay, so that payment of the property would be your first draw, your first time that you're taking funds out of your loan to disperse. So let's say hypothetically you purchased your property for $80,000. So now that's come out of the loan and you're making interest only payments on that $80,000 as soon as your loan closes. Okay. Some people already own their property. Fantastic. Okay. So then we've got a site development budget. Let's say you need a well and you need a septic and a driveway and excavation. Well, we have baked those items into your loan. And that needs to happen on your property before we can start building. We need that driveway to the location of the house before we can pour your foundation. So you're going to have those trades come out and deliver those items onto your property. So whether they're digging, removing trees, putting in your well, so on and so forth, well, then they need to be paid. So that's going to be your first draw from your loan. And let's say that you allocated $60,000 for your site development. So now that $60,000 has come out and you're making the interest only payments on that $60,000. Don't want to get too confusing, but let's say you needed both. You did the loan for the property and for the site development. So then those two numbers get added together and your interest only payments get updated to that total amount of those together. And that's your interest only payment. For us as a builder, we only have 5 draws throughout the course of our construction process. And we don't collect any money from the customer's loan until your foundation is poured and inspected. I know enough to get me in trouble. Look, that's what I tell my customers, that any serious questions, We can get you linked up with our loan officers. They can dive in. Of course, they can only answer so much when we look for like really specifics of, hey, what can I be approved for? Hey, what does this mean? So on and so forth. Really, the best thing for that is to put in an application. Like Shari said, we have our own in-house lender. They are designed for us. And part of that is knowing that not every customer who is interested in building actually builds a house. That's just reality. So they will give you a pre-qualification for a loan with no impact to your credit. So they know that just because you're interested doesn't mean that you won't go buy an existing house or might wait a couple of years. So we don't want to impact your credit in any way. So we're going to issue that pre-qualification with no impact to your credit. They will only begin to pull your credit when you tell them, yes, this is the path I'm taking. Here are my tax documents. Here are my W-2s, and that's when it happens.
Yeah, it's so great to, especially because it really helps a buyer figure out what their budget is in the beginning and, you know, what we need to figure out when it comes to land purchase or site development and stuff. And hey, oh, you know what, maybe if I wait a year, it's going to be a little bit better, or things like that. So it's really nice that it has no impact to your credit to proceed forward with something.
And a lot of the times people just have a number of what they're comfortable for their monthly mortgage payment in their mind. Okay, so once you have that pre-qualification in place, that's when we can translate that. So let's say we're comfortable with paying $3,500 a month or 32, or whatever that number is. It's really difficult for Shari or myself to translate that into an actual budget. That's the part where we get in trouble. So that's where the loan officer comes in. Once you have that pre-approval, sure, it might say you're pre-approved for $600,000. That doesn't mean that we're going to spend $600,000. Your homeownership counselor, like Shari or myself, we're going to have really great conversations with you. And if you want your budget at $400,000, even if you're approved for 600, that doesn't matter. We're going to spend what you want to spend, and we're going to focus on your goal, and we're going to focus on what you want to keep that monthly mortgage payment at.
Yeah, for sure. We do have some very like-minded viewers today because we got a couple questions about pantries. What have other people done to add a pantry to this model? Where have you also designed one in this plan? I will say we have what I call the baby sister to this plan is the Josephine 2,383 square feet. And on that one, I have converted part of the big utility room into a walk-in pantry. I have converted part of the dining room / den into a walk-in pantry. So really it's, as Sarah has mentioned, it's whatever you can envision. You let Sarah and I know, or your HOC from another branch, and we will help you figure out where to put that pantry into your plan. It's really great and I can't remember if Sarah mentioned earlier, but they have fully gone through and drafted all of our plans. So a bunch of our plans that didn't have pantries now have pantries. And so we know that that's a big necessity. And so we're happy to make it work for you however we do it.
Yes. So when I said the sky's the limit, I meant it. So this is another Mount Hood that I have done previously. Okay, so this is another farmhouse Mount Hood. We did the board and back, complete 360 on this home. We did the dual master. So this is what it looks like when you have that dual master in the Mount Hood floor plan. So you get your own bathroom, your own walk-in closet in that space. So these particular customers, they have 2 children. Okay, the oldest, I'm not going to say they're the favorite, but they get the dual master. And then the youngest is over here. We did add a walk-in closet to that bedroom, but as you noted from the website, there's another 2 bedrooms here. Okay, so for these particular customers, they didn't have the need for that. So we took that bedroom, we made a massive utility room. Okay, so they've got a lot of space in here. They can do freezers, chest freezers. We've got upper and lower cabinets, all that stuff. But where the utility room used to be, we created a large 8 foot deep walk-in pantry on this particular plan. So it's really whatever you want it to be. I've done corner pantries on this plan before. I've done this style where we convert a complete room into something different. It really just comes down to Shari and I listening to your goals, because the functionality of the floor plan is the most important. We want to make sure it fits your lifestyle and fits your needs. So we're going to take that time to really listen, understand what's most important to you, and then we're going to come up with ideas. We're going to then start trying to problem solve how we're going to be able to make this floor plan be more functional for your family. Okay, and so that's when we start to move walls, we start to introduce things like this, and we bring all of those goals to life. So for me, that's my favorite part of the process, getting to kind of do arts and crafts and play with your ideas and really bring them to life. And then customers see it and they're like, oh my gosh, this is exactly what I wanted. That's the best part of the job. So really, it's whatever you think about. Of course, we want to be cognizant of the budget. So as we're going through all of those, we'll let you know. I would say the most important thing when going through the design process with your homeownership counselor on your home is please, please, please first focus on the structural components. What do we need to do now that can't be done later? Do we want that 9-foot plate height? Do we want extra windows? Do we want a vault? All of those items that are extremely difficult to do later down the road. And then from there, once we have those structural components taken care of, we then need to dabble into the items that are necessity. What do you have to have in the house to make you happy? The goal is to make this an enjoyable experience and very rewarding when you move in. So what are those elements that just you have to have? Can't live without them. Okay, and then from there, we then dabble into the it would be nice items. So as I catch my customers saying, oh, but it would just be really nice to have. Okay, fantastic. I love nice things. But what you're telling me is that it's not a must-have. So what are the must-haves? And that's how I like to structure it, because it's not, in my mind, fair to kind of play house. It's fun, but we don't want to get that budget back and we're 60,000 over budget. That's not fun for anybody. So we want to structure it in a way where we're cognizant of your budget, but we're still able to introduce those items that are important to the customers.
Okay. And that's exactly what I tell my buyers too. Let's focus on the structural and then we go for the pretties. But I do have to piggyback off. I love that you said that this is your favorite part, because it really is my favorite part, and my buyer's favorite part is to see their dream come to reality. And it's, it's just like to be corny, it's like a warm, fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, and I said the creativity portion of it, because, and sometimes, people always then ask, okay, well, how much is it? And some of these items, they aren't as expensive as you think. As long as we're not moving those exterior walls and we are simply modifying the structure as is, the square footage is already there. We're just changing its function. So, I can create like that one that I showed you all, where I transitioned that whole room and then introduced the pantry. It was only $1,200 to do all of that. So these aren't like bank breaking modifications to the home, so it's only when we move those exterior walls and add square footage and those kinds of things, but some of the modifications are simple enough. We can even do them on a tight budget. It's not a problem.
Whether you have built several homes or your first time home builder, it really is an easy process to really bring your creativity to life too. So you don't have to put too much thought into it to get what you want.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
How much does it cost to bring the garage front out like this one, to bring that extra square footage?
Oh, that's a great question. So any of the garages can be modified. So garage square footages right now are priced at about $86 a square foot. So if you're looking at any of the floor plans and you want to bump that garage wall out by 4 feet, great. The rough math would just be to figure out what square footage we're adding. So let's say bumping out that 4 feet on a 22 wide garage, so that would be 4 times 22. So we're adding 88 square feet to that garage. So then we would multiply that by $86. So that would be about $7,500 to do that. On this particular plan, when they bumped out that 4th bay and they increased it by 4 feet over the span of just 12 feet wide, that came out to $3,852 for this particular project. But that rough math can be applied to any of the plans. So it's $86 a square foot. It's the same, I get the same question too about adding square footage to the homes. And so that math works the same way. You would just take the base price of the homes on our website and divide it by the square footage, and you get the price per square foot for all of our homes. We're very transparent. So then if you wanted to add 200 square foot to the home, you would figure out that base price, multiply it by the 200, and that would give you the rough number of what it would cost to do that extension on the home. And something else I'll note is there's no hiding anything. We give you all of this pricing up front. We go through multiple quotes with you before, any contracts in place. You're not legally bound to us. It just all ties back into making sure that you're comfortable, it fits within your budget. We've done our due diligence. We have those conversations with the loan officers. It's possible. And then when it's like, hot dog, we're ready, then that's when we sign those contracts and get you up and going.
Yeah, really great part of the process is being able to have your numbers all the way down to the same. It's itemized quotes that we know exactly what you're spending where.
And it's as easy to push delete as it was to push add. So sometimes customers will feel bad. I tell you guys, like I tell all my customers, it's all part of the process. We want to price out everything you're thinking about at your design meeting. We don't want to leave anything on the table because we don't want to live in the realm of what ifs. We don't want to feel like nobody was heard. We just price out everything. Okay, we might be over budget. It's totally okay. My motto for my customers is we don't fight in my office, we fight at home. So I'm going to send you with your home quote to have those really great conversations at home to determine, what needs to stay, what can come out, and then you call me and you're like, hey, Sarah, we love just about everything, but can you please take X, Y, and Z out of the quote and send us a new one so we can see the new total. It's not a problem. And we're going to do that several times. And people are like, oh, I'm so sorry. Yeah, it's all part of the process. We don't want to rush to make a decision here. I want you to take the time, maybe grab a bottle of wine, whatever it is, have that good conversation, and then we make them.
Chris wants to know, how long does it take to build a home like this from start to finish? I know both of our areas differ a little bit. I mean, my area, we are 12 to 15 months contract to close. That it all depends on when the snow flies, because like I said, I am in the mountain areas. But my permitting time, I believe, is a little faster than yours. I'm not totally sure. So what about your area? How long are you guys?
Yeah, so for me, a project, let's see, I'm trying to look at this particular project, when it was started. So this house began in November and was finished in April. So November, December, January, February, March, April. So this house took 6 months to build from foundation to finish, okay? From contract though, in my branch, we're typically anywhere from 8 months to 12 months, okay? And we say from contract because that isn't just the house being built. It's a huge misconception, okay? Once a contract is in place, we still have 2 phases to your project, okay? Phase 1 is pre-construction. So in that phase, we need your loan to close. We need your building permits to be approved because we cannot pour a foundation legally until we have those back. And 3, we need to have the lot ready to be able to house the home. Okay, on average for my branch, that can take anywhere from 4 to 5 months. Because like Shari said, I do work with a handful of larger jurisdictions that can take anywhere to 14 weeks to process building permits. So we need all of that to happen. All of Adair operates on a first come, first served basis. We don't put people on a wait list, we don't backlog, we don't do anything like that. So if your loan is funded, your permits are back, and your lot is ready, we will release you into construction. Does not matter if I sign contracts 3 months before you. If you're ready first, you get to take that spot in line first. That's how we operate, first come, first served. And if you can get through that pre-construction in faster than 4 months, that's fine. My record for customers in pre-con was 52 days, and you're ready. Okay, you get to go. And we don't need you to take up all 4 months. That's just the average. And then from there, the rest of that timeline is for the build. So for this particular customer, if they would have taken 4 months for their pre-con and then took 6 months to build the house, that's where that 10 months come from for this particular customer. The smaller the house, the faster we build. The bigger the house, the longer it takes. Any other questions?
Yeah, just one. What was the best or preferred months for construction in Southwest Washington?
It will kind of come down to, I'll just keep playing this so that we've got something. It really kind of comes down to what area you build it. Like I said, I go all the way up to Long Beach, and I go all the way out to White Salmon in the Gorge area. So Stevenson, Skamania County, White Salmon, they do experience snow. They do have winter months. So in those areas, we will be strategic, okay? We build all year round, but it's then really up to the customer if they are comfortable with building through the winter. Otherwise, in Clark County, Cowlitz County, Columbia, Pacific, all of those counties, we build all year round. So there's no issue for us. If your goal is to have a summer build, that's just where Shari and we get strategic. So we just gave you the timeline after contracts in place. So it's 4 months before your foundation is poured. So if you want your house to be built during the summer and you want your foundation poured in June, not a problem. That means we need to be signing contracts in either January, February, or March in order to have you do that summer build. So it's really your goal. We interpret it, but if your goal is to be in as fast as possible, we build all year round.
And that's it.
Okay. Okay. Well, with that, I mean, we saw it a handful of times, so I'll go ahead. I'll pause it. Thank you so much for being my co-host today, Shari, and we will go ahead and give everybody back the rest of their Thursday afternoon.
Wonderful. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.